So with Simon playing relatively hot right now, I definitely think Simon has a great potential to take down his second Elite Series win with MVP. Let's go over all the predictions I have for Jonesboro. So if you have not actually seen 2022 Jonesboro, I highly recommend it. It was one of the best finishes and overall tournaments I've ever seen. Even with 2023 being pretty hot, you have so many different crazy things happening. You have Simon coming from out of nowhere with a 13 under, almost a course record. The course has actually changed a couple of times, but that is one of the best scores in history, and he was down significantly from round one. You have McBeth making a huge comeback. You have Calvin throwing the most consistent lines ever and being extremely dialed in, and then of course you have Kevin Jones sort of fumbling it on his hole 18 drive, but throws in a blind drive from about 200 feet. Honestly, one of the sickest shots that has ever happened, and I wish I was there to see it. But there's really nothing more intense and exhilarating than having the top three competitors tied with hole 18 to go. So I know we can't replicate this, but man, I highly wish that we get something like this for 2023. So starting out with Simon, I think he's been playing so hot that he really has a great potential to take it down. It really is just going to come down to some blow up holes. If he can manage to not do any of those, then he has a great probability to take it down. The distance, putting, eagle looks all seem to be very attainable for him, but I still do worry that his putter is a little bit off. He really needs to dial it in every single tournament, because just having one tournament where he had a hot putter doesn't mean the next one will be the same. And one of the craziest experiences I've ever had in my entire life was actually talking to Simon after his round 2, 13 under. I felt so incredibly lucky to get to have that experience. I was actually playing the AM side of Jonesboro at the time and was able to check out MPO after my tournament. And it was so crazy to hear Simon speak about his round, because he was just like, oh yeah, like I really don't know what happened. I just kind of threw the same shots I always do. They seem to work out better this time. And it really doesn't even seem to have a total flip when Simon's playing good. It's just a matter of, oh yeah, they just kind of went my way. So with that said, I still do think he is the top contender to take it down, but let's go over the rest of the people. So I have to start out next with KJ. He has such high potential. This is another event just like LBC where KJ was going super strong, but just kind of fumbles a little bit in final round and gave up the win to Calvin. Now this was a lot more intense because it was tied on hole 18, but I think because KJ knows that this is like his home turf, he's from Arkansas, he's played well at this event before, that he definitely has the potential to get in the right mind space that he needs to play well in this course. And while I know he's probably still pretty frustrated about Champions Cup and not being able to play that, I think there is a high potential for him to play great, definitely get a podium finish, and maybe take it down. So while we're on the topic of Calvin, I think he is just playing so consistently and so well this year that you cannot take him out of contention by any means. But I think this could be one of those events. Calvin's playing great, but everyone else is just playing phenomenal disc golf. Another reason why I think this is because they have not changed the layout for a little bit of time, so people know the course, they know the lines, they just have to hit it. There's a lot of new courses to the tour where people may have not figured out the best lines or how to like get an easy birdie, but this is a course that's been pretty much figured out. And the next step I think is the category of good, especially on open courses, and that would be Gannon and Eagle. I think they will have a great line and great potential on this course. It was very evident in the highlights from last year that they were playing well, didn't quite finish as well as they had hoped, because you really do need 3 hot rounds. It's not like other courses where you can play like a 6 under, then a 10, and then like a 4. Now you need a bunch of rounds that have 1050 rated or above, but knowing that they have such elite putting and that will definitely be needed for this course makes me think that they'll also do pretty hot. And then you have McBeth, who actually was in the playoff last year, played great, but there's the notion of him kind of just falling off a bit. Doesn't have the same drive, doesn't have the same type of putting and drives that he used to, and I definitely do not foresee him being even in really the top 10. But knowing McBeth, he could always prove me wrong. He could always play phenomenal disc golf, take it down by 5 strokes, who knows, but I don't foresee that happening. I'm going to put him out of top 10. And then for the people that I don't foresee doing phenomenal, but just playing great disc golf, you have Corey Ellis and Alden Harris. These are players that definitely show up from time to time. You see their name, you know of them, but you don't actually get to see them take down really any wins if it's not in the Silver Series. So I think these two could really make a name for themselves at this tournament. They played great last year, and they have such smooth drives and putts that it might be really necessary to have that when the wind does become a factor, because it is a slightly windy course, and you will need to know how to throw in that wind, even though it's not Emporia levels of wind. But overall, I would love to see KJ get his redemption arc, get him a win. Please, KJ, I know you can do it. Just finish an entire tournament. And then Simon, I think he's playing too hot. Already has one of the hottest rounds at this course, no layout changes. And watching his most recent vlog, it was just electric. When you guys check that out, he's playing really good, and I definitely see him taking it down if he can string it all together. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Wild Runs, signing out. Peace. And if you're wondering, yeah, I think Kristen's gonna win FPO.